Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kara and I am on a personal mission to find health. That's going to mean something different for everybody, but for me it means making better nutritional choices and incorporating more activity in my life. So let's talk about activity. Now, I do have to say, it's been a while since I posted an update, and I know that when I posted it, it had been a little while since I had filmed the last update. So I'm trying to go back in my mind without actually having to watch my last video, which I should probably just do, but here we are. I haven't, so I apologize if I'm being redundant, but I'm pretty sure I know where we're at. So in the last update, I believe I was talking about the fact that I had just bought a bike, that I was contemplating this like mini super sprint triathlon, sort of like a give it a try, if you will. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with that, and I hadn't started cycling yet. Okay, so let's break this down. I'm sure everybody is aware, but triathlon is 3 sports. There's swimming, cycling, and running. Running is the sport that I have started off with. However, my body had other plans. So if you'll recall, I've been complaining about this hip issue that I've been having for about 3 months at this point, and it's mainly aggravated by running. So even if I walk for a long distance, it doesn't piss my hip off, but the minute I run, even for a short distance, I'm in agony for days after. And I've been working with a physiotherapist to sort of try to figure out what it is and how we can address it. He has given me exercises to do, and they really are helping. However, I did try to do a very short 2.5K run the other day on my treadmill, and then I was limping for days after. So regardless, there is definitely an issue in there. And my physiotherapist has had a hard time sort of like pinpointing exactly what it is, because it's just not presenting the way certain things typically do. And he suspects that it's going to come down to either the beginning of osteoarthritis, yay, or possibly a tear in the hip, something called a labral tear, which also is kind of like a yay. Like, it's not a great thing to have, although I'd rather have that than arthritis. But regardless, I am waiting for some imaging, except my doctor's office is in turmoil. She's actually closing her practice and announced it by just putting a sign on the door. So my husband actually found out through Reddit because they never notified any of the patients. That is a complaint for another day, but what the hell? Anyways, I am waiting for just a very basic requisition to go and get an x-ray of my hip, but God only knows when I'm going to get that. So in the meantime, I basically just nixed the running because it's just not worth it to me. It's just not. So I've been focusing primarily on cycling and on swimming. Now, cycling, if you'll recall, I'm pretty sure I had said in my previous video that I am not a confident cyclist. Like, I am just not. I'm terrified of falling off. I am terrified of going around corners. I'm terrified of getting hit by a car. Like, if I go too fast, I panic. If I go too slow, I get all wibble wobbly. Like, it's going to take some time to get used to riding the bike. And so I thought, you know, it'd be great. Let's go for a nice trail ride. And by trail ride, I mean like a gravel path. Like, I'm not cycling through like the forest. I don't have a mountain bike. I have like a hybrid road bike type thing, just has slightly wider tires than a traditional road bike. Anyways, regardless, I found this really nice trail that's really close to our house. It's about 14 kilometers in length, and it's like an out and back. So if you did the whole thing, 28 kilometers. I don't know why I thought I could do that, but I was like, hey, let's do 28 kilometers today. I got about, I would say about 7 or 8 kilometers out. Is that right? No, a little bit more than that. I think I went about 10K and then realized I had to double it and come back, and I was already feeling gassed. So I was like, okay, 14K is out. Let's turn around and hopefully I can get back. And I think it was about 4 to 5 kilometers away from where my car was parked. Catastrophe. This is just part of a Marco Polo video that I sent to Barry immediately after I fell off the bike, knowing that he couldn't help me, but I wanted to share my misery. So I fell off the bike. I'm just riding along, doing my thing, and then all of a sudden, like the front wheel, I don't know what happened in the moment. I know now, but in the moment I was like, what is happening? I'm falling. Okay, I'm falling. Oh, okay, I'm on the ground. And I stood up and there was blood pouring down my leg. I was all cut up along my arm. I had like gouged my thumb as well. There's blood pouring out of that. And I was just like, I don't know what just happened, because anytime I've fallen in the past, it's because I've done something stupid. Like I've panicked and I've just overcorrected and then I fall. This, I was just riding in a straight line and all of a sudden I was on the ground. Turns out the little screw that holds the front end of the bike in place had come loose. And so as I was riding, all of a sudden the handlebars were not really connected to the wheel, and the wheel went one way, the bike went the other, and I went down. And because I couldn't fix it, I had to walk the bike back to the car about 4 or 5 kilometers. So that was fun. And I'm gonna have quite the scar on there, but here's the silver lining. I fell, I survived, and now I'm not really scared about falling again. I don't know if it's just a psychological thing or what, but like I was so afraid of falling that now that I have, I'm kind of like, well, yeah, it wasn't fun. I mean, it hurt, but like I lived. So Barry has tightened the ever-living shit out of those handlebars. They are not going to come off anytime soon. And I have ridden the bike again successfully several times since then. So the fear has been lifted. I still haven't gone more than 10K at a time. I get very gassed by the time I hit about like 8K. So it's just a matter of building up the endurance. I bought some cycling shorts so my butt feels much better about it, because those seat bikes, like those bike seats, not comfy. They are not very padded, and your little bones in your butt, you might not ever be aware that they're there until you ride a bike, and then you try to ride it again the next day and it reminds you. The cycling is progressing. Likewise, so is the swimming. And I have to say, the swimming, it's my happy place. Like you just get into this rhythm, you can totally just zone out, just focus on what you're doing, and the time just flies by, the distance flies by, and I ache all over the next day. But it's that good ache where you know that you've just worked your muscles and they're just letting you know, hey, we haven't done that in a while. It's not a bad ache, it's not pain, it's just like you can feel it, but I feel it everywhere. It is really a full body workout and I love it. Also, I just bought some like underwater headphones as well, and they have been a game changer because I can actually upload my like Spotify playlist to them. I had to figure out some tech side of that, but we got her done. And then I can just listen, and I can actually hear it in the water as well. So instead of just listening to my own bubbles, now I can listen to music mixed with my bubbles, but it really does make it that much more enjoyable. And last week, I think it was, my daughter actually joined me for lane swimming as well. So we shared a lane. She went at her own pace, I went at mine. And I love that. I love that we were able to do it together. I love that it's something physical that we can do, and it's just setting a good example for her. It's time that we can spend together, and it's both getting us out of the house and doing something good for ourselves. And afterwards, I wasn't sure that she was really going to enjoy it, but afterwards I asked her if she would do it again with me, and she was really excited to go again. So I'm going to try to make that at least a weekly outing with her because it's just such nice quality time together. But I've been focusing on improving my stroke, but also building distance. And today was the longest I've ever gone. Now, I was mildly furious with myself because I went into the pool with the goal of swimming 1,500 meters, 1.5K. And I messed up the counting of my lanes and I missed one entire lap. So I did 1450. I really can't be upset about that, but I really wanted to see that 1500, but that's what the next swim is for. That's where we're at with activity. I have just been feeling so good every time I ride my bike or swim. There was one day where I went for a swim and then immediately went for a bike ride after, just to simulate the swim bike race that I have registered for. So in my last update, I was talking about a triathlon and whether or not I was going to be entering that based on this hip issue. And it was just like a mini little tiny, what they call a try or a super sprint, where it's very, very short distances and it's meant to just dip your toe into the world of triathlon and see if that's what you want to do. And I was very disappointed because the running is really what holds me back. However, when I looked at the event page again, they have a swim bike option. So it's the exact same thing as the triathlon, just minus the run. So I registered and I actually got the very last spot in that. And that is going to take place 1 week and 2 days from now. So I am very excited and very, very nervous. Very nervous. So the swim is only 400 meters. I know that I can do that absolutely no problem. I've also been practicing in the lake where the event's going to be held. I actually bought a wetsuit. Oh my God, putting a wetsuit on is aerobic activity in and of itself. Taking it off, equally so. My goodness. Regardless, 400 meters, I know I can do it. The bike is 10K, but it's on a closed road, so there's no cars, don't have to worry about that. They will keep all the spectators away, so I don't have to worry about that either. And I know I can do 10K because I've done 10K. I don't know that I can do it fast, but I can do it. However, I'm a very anxious person by nature. I take meds for it. That's just how legit it is. And anything that's new, anything I've never done before, I'm instantly at like an 11 with anxiety. So I'm terrified to go to this thing because there's going to be a lot of people. It's something I've never done before. I've never attended one. I don't know how the starts will be. I don't know how many people are going to be swimming. I don't know if I'm going to get kicked in the face. I don't know if I'm going to be swimming right on top of somebody else. Like I don't know, but I'm going to do it and then I'm going to find out because it's something that I want to continue doing. So that's coming up in about a week's time, and thereafter, I will let you know how it goes. In terms of weight, now in the last few updates that I've done, I basically said that I haven't been weighing myself, and that's true, but I have started. I weighed myself last week because my husband and our 2 kids have gone to Nova Scotia to visit his family while I've stayed home. Multitude of reasons for why I'm home. I would love to be with them. He would love for me to be with them, but there's a lot of practical things that needed to be done, so I stayed here. And I honestly was afraid that I was going to like pack on about 10 pounds while they were gone because I'd be bored and could eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. So I weighed myself last week just to like be able to keep an eye on myself, and I weighed in at 217. Today, so not even quite a week later, 6 days after the fact, I weighed myself today and I'm 13.4. Well, not 13, but 213.4. So I've actually lost almost 4 pounds in a week. So, I mean, I really have to credit the amount of exercise that I've been doing, but I'm also just very, very pleased with myself and very proud of myself that I've been taking the time to prep my own meals, that I have been snacking on things like nectarines and cottage cheese instead of chips and chocolate. I still have some of those, don't get me wrong. But I'm not eating like an entire bag in a sitting. I'm not ordering in pizza and different meals and things of that sort. I'm actually cooking my own meals, and I'm just overall trying to just take care of myself, sort of press reset so that when they come back, when we return to work and everything goes back to life as normal, I've basically just sort of refreshed myself and set the groundwork for new habits going forward, or improved habits going forward. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. Now, coming up in September, I think I've talked about this, I am scheduled for a breast reduction and excess skin removal. And the closer we get to that, the more terrified I'm becoming. I really am. I mean, I was scared going into gastric bypass surgery as well, but I wasn't so much scared of the pain of recovery. I was just scared of what life and eating and just how I would cope with emotions. I was worried about all of that kind of thing. I really wasn't worried about the physical side of it. But with this one, I know that the recovery is going to be painful, and I'm scared. Nobody wants to hurt. Nobody wants to be in pain. And I know that this is sort of a voluntary pain, and it's an intentional pain. And it's one of those situations where it just kind of is the necessary evil to get to where I want to be, which is having a smaller chest and having this excess skin removed. And there's a lot of benefits for me going forward with that. But I'm scared. I am, especially the excess skin removal, because you can't stand upright for a few days after, and then the double whammy of having the breasts done as well. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do anything for myself for like the first few days after surgery, because I can't imagine like lifting my arms and trying to like reach for stuff and holding, like I think I'm going to be fully dependent on my husband and kids, and that's not a great feeling either. He's not going to be upset about it. I mean, I have a wonderful, wonderful, supportive husband. He's not going to be like, ugh, you again, you need help. That's not Barry. But I'm still scared. And having dealt with this hip issue and the shoulder issue and then falling off the bike, and I mean, I was bruised for about 3 weeks after as well. And, you know, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck because I fell and landed on the ground. I'm knocking stuff over. I'm tired of hurting. And then the thought of voluntarily going forward with surgery and liposuction along the sides as well, and it's an invasive major surgery, and I'm just nervous and scared. I'm still gonna go through with it, but to say that I'm excited for like a month after the fact. I am definitely not excited for the month of September at all. I'll check in October. So, and also I don't know how it's going to impact all of the progress that I'm making on the swimming and all this kind of thing as well, because I'm not going to be able to be active for at least 4 to 6 weeks after. And that has another element to it as well, because it's very easy to fall into inertia where you're just not being active. That first step of becoming active again is that much harder. So I'm really trying to mentally prepare myself for that as well, to just think like, okay, this is a bit of a break, and when you can come back, yes, you have to ease into it, but there's nothing to stop you from getting back to where I'm at now and way beyond that. I mean, next summer I'm hoping that I can train for a 5K swim and who else, like who knows what else, but I'm gonna have to set goals for myself, and I'm gonna have to set big goals so that all throughout the winter I have something to work towards and I can see steady progress and have something in mind for the end of it. So if you have any tips on that, let me know down below. But for now, that's it. That's what I have to share with you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are some accomplishments that you've had, some challenges you faced, all of that good stuff, let me know. But for now, I'm gonna wrap the video up here, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just remember to be gentle with yourself. Bye for now.